It's funny to think that I finally found a cageless rig that worked for me on the Pocket 4K, and just a few days later I came across this crowdfunding campaign that made me completely reconsider my entire setup. Fuck. Take my money. Shut up, take my money. In case you missed the news, there's a Kickstarter going on for this mod kit to change the BMPCC 4K into a much more functional design. I really do like this setup, and I think it would be perfect if it worked with another company's product that I'll get into later. So first, to discuss the pros of this, I think it's obvious that it'll lead to a smaller rig, easier setup, less time when you show up to a shoot. With this, you can just pull it out of your bag, slap a lens on, V-mount, SSD, mic receiver, and be up and running in a few minutes. After doing enough shoots, I'm just done tinkering with rigs on set, since it takes so much time and energy away from the actual shooting process. Also, no external batteries, battery plates, or cables is nice, since a lot of times I've encountered issues where the NPF plate will just stop working, or the cable I'm using, I'm not quite sure which it is, but either way, it's just been a little less reliable. So I guess it's just nice to have less possible points of failure when it comes to charging the camera. And of course, the biggest thing for me at least is just putting that battery in the ideal location. Of course, on the back is just practically the best place to put it to counterbalance a heavy lens in the front and provide a way to brace it against your chest for extra stabilization. Now on to the cons, and I think there's really only one that's preventing me from immediately pulling the trigger on this thing, because it is sweet. But anyways, the first is the exposed ribbon cable, which is a little bit of a concern, but I think you could even add a little extra cable loom around it for some added protection, but it definitely is more exposed than the original design. Second is you can add a top handle with this new mod kit, and to me that's not a huge deal. I never really use a top handle, and the rare times I do when I'm trying to get a low angle shot, usually you can achieve it in other ways. So not too big of an issue. The next con in my mind is that it just limits you overall in what rigs you can do and how much you can add to the device and how much you can add to the actual camera. But for my use cases, I prefer it pretty stripped back anyways, so not huge issue there. But for me, really the biggest con comes down to just the original screen. That mediocre brightness of 500 nits, I think, is the major flaw. As much as I want to buy it right now, I just know filming outdoors, that screen historically has not cut it for me. So what are the workarounds for this? First is a product I've been considering for a while, and that's the Kinotechnic EVF, which when combined with a monitor, it works with the Small HD 5 or the screen on the BMPCC 4K. It eliminates the need to buy another expensive EVF, and you can just run it straight off the 4K screen, which is pretty awesome. And the ideal way to use this is as a third point of contact, so you get extra stabilization when you're filming. However, this means that for this mod kit that's coming out, you would need to be able to tighten the resistance of that hinge on the monitor. So I'm not too sure if that's a possibility. That's definitely one of the big questions I do have for this new mod kit. And there's also another option to get around this dim screen, which is to put a sun hood on it. But the ones I've seen from SmallRig and Tilta at least don't seem like they can work in this configuration because they're screwed on onto usually a cage. There is one option that looks nice that I found, and it's from a company called Ocean Video, and it's called the Ocean Video Glare Guard 5-inch. Basically, it's a plastic sun hood that folds down nicely to protect the screen while it's not in use. And this is something I might just want to buy anyways, since it also uses the same adhesive-backed magnetic frame as the Kinotechnic. The only issue is it looks like it's been discontinued since it's out of stock at all the resellers, and I can't find it anywhere for purchase. But if you know of a spot to buy it, please let me know. So for these reasons, I might have to hold off on pulling the trigger on this Kickstarter until I can find a suitable sun hood or find out from PodTech if there's a way to tighten the hinge, because otherwise I just know that it's going to be limited in terms of only being able to use that screen indoors. And for the time being, I'm content with my stripped back setup. It is obviously more clunky, but I think it offers a little bit more flexibility. And I can also swivel this screen around for when I'm doing YouTube videos, which has been nice. So let me know what you think of this new mod kit. It's definitely awesome, and I really am interested in buying one. I'm just kind of caught up on that one con. And if you're aware of an option that might work out for this, yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in checking out my current rig, I posted that in a video last week, so check that out right here. See you in the next one.